Hello, my name is Mary Gebrsadik. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm a third year studying political science and ethnic studies. In this installment of Tell Me More, President Joyce McConnell sits down with Provost and Executive Vice President Mary Pedersen to discuss the intricacies and importance of student access and success at Colorado State University. They take a deeper dive into what the university is currently doing to provide opportunities for students. As a young first-generation African-American woman, I was always surrounded by people who wanted me to succeed in school, but never provided me with the tools to do it. CSU has provided me with those resources, as well as scholarships that have allowed me to continue my education. That education fostered my desire to positively impact others and be a voice of the youth and lead by example. Every accomplishment starts with a vision, and my vision is to see more changes being made in the causes that are truly important to me. I define success as having and being aware of the resources to accomplish any goals and aspirations one may have. Now sit back and enjoy this installment of Tell Me More as the President and Mary Pedersen discuss student success.
I value the people. I think the most important resource that anyone has that we all have are the people, and that includes the students, the staff, and the faculty. And so that really becomes the top priority, what we need to be sure that we're taking care of, paying attention to, what are the needs, because the people is really who you are. And what makes me incredibly hopeful is the amazing quality and the dedication of the people here at CSU.
Thank you for joining me today, Mary. It's so great to see you this morning. We're going to be discussing student access and success and what that looks like on the CSU campus. And I know that's something you're really passionate about. We're sitting down together and we're going to be talking about student success here at Colorado State University, but I'd really like to hear from you what that means to you. I'm so excited to have you here. I think people who are watching this may not realize you've only been here really 90 days. And those 90 days have flown by and you have done so much for our students and our faculty already. So tell me what you think about student success.
So it's interesting, Joyce. Student success is such a important term, and it means so many things to different people. And we all talk about it and how important it is. And we've spent a lot of time in different groups discussing it. And I think when we think of student success, we think of students when they come to the university, finding community, that's really important. Finding their major, what are they passionate about? But then we also think about making progress to degree. Can they get the classes they need? And then, of course, can they graduate in a timely manner? So all of those are different things that we tend to look at and measure. It's interesting. We did a interview with students a while back ago to ask them what they felt student success was. And they actually said something a little different. They said finding the right job when they graduated. So it was about the outcomes after being at the university. So I think that it's important to think of both, their success while they're here, but also are they successful at getting jobs that they're excited and passionate about. So it's a really important term, but it means a lot of things to a lot of different people.
That's such a great answer because I do think at different stages, people think of success differently. And you've certainly highlighted that with our students. Now that you've been at CSU 3 months, not very long, but what's really struck you about Colorado State University as an entity, about the campus, about our faculty, students, our staff?
What I've really been struck with, Joyce, is not only the incredible expertise and talent that is here, really talented individuals, but their dedication and passion. I have seen the researchers and the staff and the leadership that have put the priority of the campus, the safety and the health, above everything else, and they've dedicated themselves almost 24/7. And to see them come together and work on how to deal with the challenge of the pandemic has been really like a large research experiment. We don't have a playbook. We've never been through this before. We don't know how to do it, but every day getting together and looking at where we are, solving the challenges, and then forging ahead. It's been extremely impressive to me to see the dedication and how they care so much about the safety and the health of the campus and the students. At the same time, also putting student success still as a priority. And we know for students this has been so difficult with a combination of face-to-face, remote classes, new freshmen coming in and not being able to engage with other students in the way that they have in the past. And so the staff and faculty have come together to try to create new programs to support the students in this more of an isolation setting. And so they have been so creative in trying to look at the student from a very holistic perspective. It's been really exciting to see that.
One of my passions for land-grant universities is I always feel like they're filled with people who can roll up their sleeves and get things done. And so that makes me so proud of this campus and all of the teams you've mentioned. But you're right, people are willing to work 24/7. They're working on the weekends. They're up late at night trying to make plans for our students and how we support our students during an unprecedented time. None of us have a roadmap for this.
No. So it's been amazing learning and working with that team and getting to know them in that context. So Joyce, I haven't had a chance yet to really interact with students, and you've been here for a little over a year now, and I know that, what is your sense of our students and who they are, and what they really care about?
Such a great question. I think about it a lot. And one of the things I've missed the most this semester in the pandemic is not being with our students all the time. You know, when I first got here a year ago, they were everywhere, right? I could walk outside of the administration building, walk onto the Oval and have conversations, and I could be out in the corridor in front of the Laurie Student Center and just engage students generally. Here, it's been really interesting this semester. A lot of my interaction has been with students at testing sites, you know, because they're all lined up in a row and I go down the row and I talk to all of them. The thing that is overwhelmingly interesting to me about our students is that they are so generous. I mean, they just have a kind of kindness with one another. And I've been really struck this semester when I say, how are you doing? You know, I know this is a hard time, everything okay? And they'll say, everything's great. We love CSU. This is the greatest place ever. And that's not actually what I expect them to say. So I think one of the things that really distinguishes our students is they're very upbeat. They're very resilient. They do really want to succeed. I mean, that idea of what am I going to do 4 years from now to take care of myself and take care of a future family, that really matters to them. So I love their combination of their spirit, their resilience, their hard work, and then their sense of responsibility to the world. And that sense of responsibility, interestingly, really shows up in our curriculum, right? We have so many students who are interested in health, whether it's animal health or human health. So many students who are interested in the health of the planet and sustainability and how do we make a sustainable world, and in energy, how do we build energy systems that are sustainable. And so I think that's a deep reflection of their care, not just for themselves, but for others.
So I'd like to know what student success means to you, Joyce. You've had the opportunity and a perspective from working with professional students over the years, and what do we need to do to prepare our students for success, to succeed in professional schools and in their careers?
Well, that's such a great question, because you're right. I had spent most of my career in legal education and then serving as dean of a law school. And of course, in a professional school, the students come in very motivated and very goal-oriented, and they're there because they know what they want. They, you know, in law school, for example, they want to be a lawyer. In med school, they want to be a doctor. What's interesting in those situations is they're sorting themselves out in interest areas. You know, what kind of doctor do I want to be? Do I want to be a cardiologist or a family practice or a lawyer? Do I want to do corporate defense or do I want to do criminal law defense. So in a professional school, they're sorting themselves out in that way. In undergraduate school, at a large campus like this, what I find is that success for students really means finding their passion as early as possible. Because once they find their passion, once they find that major, once they connect with their faculty, then you can really see them blossoming. And that's the pathway to success, I think, is that passion and level of engagement. And then, of course, having them be successful through college, but also learning all those skills that make people really rise, through their professions once they graduate. And what we hear a lot from corporate leaders is, oh yeah, I can take any engineer who's well trained, and they can do engineering, but the people who are really going to succeed are the people who have good interpersonal skills, who communicate well, who work well with a team, who know how to collaborate, who know how to balance personal integrity with the significance of the work they do for the entity that they work for. So I just think one of the goals that I have as a president is I'd like to see us being absolutely forthright in that conversation about what makes our students successful once they graduate, and really focusing on that in what we offer our students.
So as you know, this has been such a challenging year, and this semester we've seen our students, faculty, and our whole campus community really rise to these challenges. I'm really looking forward to a future, and of course, ideally a future where we can all be back in the classrooms, in our labs, and on campus again.
Well, I cannot wait for us to be back on campus with all of our students buzzing around. So I look forward for them for going back to what we think of as the full college experience. I think that coming to college and finding community matters so much in terms of how students succeed, that's one of the struggles during a pandemic. So that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, is just returning to that way in which we engage with one another so freely on a college campus, and that spirit of being together, just small things like playing volleyball together, or being able to sit around a fire pit together, being able to be close to one another. I think that students really want to be together. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also looking forward to just all of us being able to re-engage in the educational mission in a way that we know works best. And while this combination of online and hybrid and in-person is wonderful, I know that there are students who would really benefit from having even more opportunities in the classroom and even more opportunities to engage with faculty. So being able to go back to that really matters. Going forward, what do we do differently? And I think in partnering with you, Mary, I just feel a great sense of opportunity as we go through this strategic transformation planning process and thinking about what can we do differently? What have we learned from this experience? I think we've learned a lot. And what can we do going forward that meets the educational and professional needs of our students?
And in particular, are there areas that you are focused on for student success specifically that you would like to pursue?
Well, I do know that we know that there are certain things that make a difference for students in terms of student success. One is how quickly do they engage in their major, right? Another is, do they have a close relationship with a faculty member? Are we giving them the kind of academic support that they need? Is it targeted enough to really make a difference? Are we meeting all of their needs, whether it's physical health or mental health, and how does that connect? What I'd really love to do is, and the research piece you talked about and the service and engagement piece, what I'd like to do is take those markers that we know make a difference in student success, look at our entire curriculum and say, is our entire curriculum checking those markers off? And if we can say yes, and I guess one marker I would add would refer back to something I said earlier, because we know that collaboration is a skill that they need. We know communication is an important skill. We know critical thinking. If we could go through the entire curriculum and say, are we checking off all the boxes? That would make me feel so good about knowing that we have a very systematic way of approaching our students' success.
That sounds like wonderful goals, and I'm excited to work with you on that, Joyce.
Thank you. I'm really excited to work with you too.
You know, Joyce, you've really hit on a lot of the key things that excite me so much. And when you look at the original mission of the land grant to serve and have access to just the general public, so I think the access is one piece that is really important. And I know that you're very passionate about that. I feel fortunate to be at a university where that's a really top priority. I think the other part that it really excites me is the mission for serving the community and global environment in terms of agriculture, the engineering mission, the science, but at the same time, liberal education. And I really appreciate the fact that liberal education is a piece of it too, because you pointed out, which is really important, that our students need to be able to communicate well. They need to be able to collaborate. They need those critical thinking skills, and we get those from a lot of their liberal education. So I think it's that partnership between the really important agriculture, engineering, health, areas that really have a tremendous amount of applied, clear mission and goals in solving some of these challenges. And so at a land grant, the focus on all those areas with access is just so important and valuable, and I feel very passionate about it. So I feel excited to be here to support that mission.
There are two things you mentioned, and I really want to explore them a little bit further. One was that you focused on the importance of the liberal arts in the entire curriculum. And one of the things that I have said in the past, because people will talk to me about, why do the liberal arts matter, right? Or why do the social sciences matter? Or why do the performing arts matter? And that's really where our students gain this very important understanding of the world around them, right? And of people around them.
Absolutely.
And that makes them better at whatever other pathway they're exploring.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. So much better. You're absolutely right.
And when it comes to performing arts or literature, people will say, well, tell me how that helps. And I always say, how can it not be good to have students who have performed, who have read, who understand poetry and literature? That's what uplifts the human spirit. How can that be, something that isn't good, right?
Well, Joyce, we have that new PhD program in the music therapy that we are getting ready to roll out pretty soon. And it's so exciting because it is studying the connection between music and neural pathway and brain development and how enriching, and that is just so exciting when you look at that strong connection. So we've got some amazing programs that are going to actually demonstrate very well and do more research in the area of understanding how those arts and the music and really enhance our personal development, but neural development and connection between different things. That is so exciting.
Well, you've brought something up in that comment, which is about our interdisciplinary work, because that is truly an interdisciplinary degree. You have the students who are getting a PhD, and they may be doing some of the clinical work with patients themselves, right, in building neural pathways, but then they're working with scientists who are mapping those neural pathways. And so that leads me to one other question I wanted to ask. Mary, you're a phenomenal researcher. You have a real solid history and excellent history with the work you've done. And at Cal Poly, you were really engaged in your research. You ran your own lab, you ran departments, you created new curricula. What do you think research brings to the undergraduate experience at a land-grant university that's also a Research One?
So Joyce, I see the value of research as being so incredibly important. First, for students, it really gives them the opportunity to understand how their education and what they're learning is important. And it makes that connection that many times students have a hard time making. For example, when they're learning organic chemistry, it's many times a course where they just don't understand, why do I need to understand all of these reactions, and I just don't understand, it doesn't make sense. But you get them into the laboratory environment and they begin to see the connections right away, and they begin to understand why those courses are so critical and foundational. At the same time, they also start to begin to see how they can use those for real challenging questions and problems. And so the skills they've been learning around critical thinking directly go into the research setting where they need to think critically because we don't have the answers. We're at the verge of trying to discover things. And so taking that opportunity to engage them helps to keep them in school. First of all, they start to see those connections, they become motivated. We had a phenomenal program for undergraduate minoritized students where we worked to connect them with faculty. We did that during their second year, their sophomore year, and we found that student retention met and exceeded our retention of students across campus because the students got that connection, and then they really started developing a passion for a career area that they really enjoyed. So I think not only is research incredibly exciting in terms of new discoveries, but engaging the undergraduates as well as graduate students gives those students just such a tremendous goal and passion for their future.
Well, I know we want to move toward that for so many of our students here. And we have hundreds of students here engaged in research, but I think what you're raising is so important in terms of us looking at it very systematically and how we connect students to research early on. In that answer, you really combined our passions, I think, as a land-grant university for experiential learning. I think that's really important, and connection to faculty. And we know that those two things make a huge difference in terms of retention and success.
Absolutely.
So that's so exciting. I can't wait to continue working with you on that. I'm going to close on this. I think that one of the things that's been remarkable going through this period of a pandemic for us as an educational institution is seeing the extraordinary work of our researchers and the extraordinary work of our staff and faculty to support our students. But the way we've been able to bring together science and logistics and research and engagement and push that science out to make a difference, I think that that's really profound, and I'm not sure we're going to understand in the midst of how hard everyone is working how profound it is. But I think 6 months from now, when we actually get a chance to reflect on it and see how it's impacted our students and their sense of the world, we're going to learn so much from this experience.
Absolutely. And I want to add one more thing. What really has struck me is the faculty, all of the faculty that have been researching different areas, and they've taken that knowledge and now pivoted and said, I'm going to study things that are going to help us get through this pandemic. And they have shifted their focus, their energy that could have been working on other projects in their labs, and they have shifted them towards the challenges of trying to solve this virus, and whether it's, coming up with vaccines or coming up with new disinfectants and then coming up with new saliva tests. It is amazing that they care more about that than their own professional career in a certain direction. That has struck me as incredible dedication, passion, but consideration for others. And so that's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud. It's as hard as it is to be here at this moment in any institution of higher education, trying to get through everything that we're doing. I still feel so proud of the people who are here at Colorado State University, how well we all work together, the intense collaboration, the caring for our students. So I want to thank you so much, Mary, for joining me for this conversation. Even though we've known each other really, I guess, since you started interviewing, we've only been together these 90 days. And so to have the opportunity to just take a moment and reflect with you where we are and our commitment to student access and success means so much to me. So thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you, Joyce. It's been such an honor to be here, and I'm really enjoying it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us for this session of the Tell Me More Presidential Conversation Series. For future session dates, view previous interviews, and to read the bios about our guests, visit the President's website at president.colostate.edu. Take care, and we'll see you next time.